Yabba dabba doo, ladies and gentlemen, yabba dabba doo. I literally had to re-record this video because I recorded 3 videos that I recorded the footage for, and then I realized something. I had pressed the mute button on my Yeti. I pressed the mute button, and I muted myself for literally 3 recordings. 3 videos just down the drain. Either way, we're back. Welcome back to a brand new video, guys. We're back. We're back with a brand new video. If you do enjoy this one, please drop a like down below. It honestly would make my day better because honestly, this day so far has started out pretty trash, pretty shit, pretty horribly actually. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below, show some love, it would be appreciated. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a rumor and another little bit of a subject that I want to go through. That's what we'd cover. So yeah, let's get right into it, shall we? Starting right off with the rumor itself, which is this one right here. So this was sent to me by Sheely again. Again, Sheely, you're a legend. Thank you so much. I freaking appreciate it. And here's what we have, ladies and gentlemen. We have a rumor posted, and it basically says just Pokemon Sword and Shield information, anonymous. It does repeat a lot of info that I've seen on other kind of posts and kind of goes through them in a very similar manner. It doesn't really, like, you know, do anything uniquely different from other rumors that I've read. But let's start off with what this guy says. Okay, everyone, and this is 4chan, and everything here is taken with a grain of salt. Indeed, you should always take everything from 4chan with a mountain of salt, okay? Literally, that's what you gotta make sure to do. Also, guys, I do apologize about the camera being in this position again. I literally cannot find a good spot to put it. Like, this table, just, like, there's just not enough space behind my monitor to put it there. Because if I put it there, it's just not going to be enough space. So I do apologize about this view. I'm going to try to find a solution for this if I can. If I do find a solution, you will notice it instantly. You will see. But yeah, so this is where it is for now, guys. I apologize about that. Either way, here's the information, though, ladies and gentlemen, which is that, but I want to share the information about Sword and Shield that I have. Everything I know has been told to me by one source that I cannot name, of course. I do know, wait, let's see, and I'm not sure I can even believe everything this person has told me. Fair point. I do know that they have the connections where they could get this information, so do with it what you will. Alright, that sounds fair enough to me. Actually, it sounds fair enough, to be honest. And of course, there you guys can see the face cam, how that looks like. So let me know if you guys prefer the quality on, you know, this bad boy over here. But yeah, so face cam is going to be off. I'm going to move over here and see how this looks like. So here's what we basically have, which is that the final evolutions for the starters are Grass Ground, which we heard before, Fire Electric, which we've heard before, and Water Psychic, which we've heard before. These are actually just kind of repeats of stuff we've seen before. There's really not much info here that I haven't seen, you know, in past kind of rumors. Now, Grookey evolves into a tall monkey based off of a rock and roll / pop drummer and is feminine. Now, here's the thing, right? This makes sense, right? It being a feminine design makes sense, because if you look at previous Pokemon, like, you know, patterns for the starters, they, like, if we start like this, right? Go back to Generation 6, okay? Let's start from Generation 6 and move forward from there. So Generation 6, we had a water starter that was, very, like, you know, ninja-esque, right? We had a fire starter that was very feminine, and a grass starter that was very bulky. So it was a feminine design, a sleek and ninja design, or, like, you know, kind of like sleek and thin design, and then a very, like, you know, bulky and thick and big boy design, right? That's the pattern we've seen since then. Now, if you look at Generation 7, right, what you notice there is that we move a step ahead, right? So instead of the fire starter being feminine, it's the water starter. So logically speaking, in Generation 8, the starter that should be the more feminine design should be the grass starter, right? Grookey should be the one to turn into a more feminine, you know, monkey, so to say, rather than, you know, being a kind of sleek design or a bulky design. It should be a feminine design for the grass starter, which would make sense if we follow the pattern that's been set there. Because if you look at it, right, Generation 7, the bulky design went to the fire type instead of the grass type from the previous generations, which means in this generation, Sobble should be the bulky type. If you go back again, you know, to the fire starter in Generation 6, the fire starter was feminine, and then the fire starter in Generation Generation 7 was bulky and big and thick boy. And then you know, next up, boom, you jump over to to Generation 8, the fire starter should be the sleek and kind of, you know, ninja-esque design. Very sleek and very thin kind of design. So it makes sense. Honestly, that pattern makes sense, and if they do follow that pattern and continue following it, it 100% would be logical, in my opinion. So, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to go with the assumption that it makes sense. For now, at least. For now. Also, I'm going to drink the blood of my enemies. Yeah. Love the blood of my enemies. Either way. Oh, yeah, this is also just everybody, like, you know, all my enemies in here. Yeah, it's just a joke, by the way. Either way. Next thing here, so we continue down, which is that he continues saying here that, or he mentions the typings, and then goes on and says, the Scorbunny evolves into a rugby-inspired rabbit based on speed. Now, here's the thing, right? I still think Scorbunny is going to be more based on a football player or a soccer player as some. I mean, listen, here's the thing, guys. Rugby makes sense, right? Rugby is pretty big in the UK. I think it's the biggest in Australia, though, and I think it's a sport that is big in the UK, but not as big as it is in Australia, right? It's a sport in the UK that people do play. I mean, even in Sweden now, people play rugby. My brother actually played rugby for a while. So it's a sport that's pretty big. But football literally is the biggest sport in, like, out of all the sports, right? You got cricket, right? It's big in the UK. It's big in Australia, I guess. You know, you got rugby and a few other sports, but I think out of all the sports, the one that's the biggest and the one that they're basing the gyms on, literally the stadiums, are all based on football. Now, I'm saying football, but for all the American viewers, I'm talking about the thing that you guys refer to as soccer, but the rest of us refer to it as football. At least in, you know, in Sweden we do football, or in Bosnia, my home country, we say football. Or like in some other countries, football, you know what I mean? My point is that that's usually the name we go with, but I'm not going to get the discussion of soccer, because I know soccer is the name that was invented by the British, who made the sport, so it is what it is. But my point is this, though, that I think that's a bigger sport in the UK, right? Soccer, football, is a bigger sport in the UK than rugby is. I'm pretty sure of that, right? Because it's, like, it's huge there. Literally, people take football so seriously in the UK, it's ridiculous. I mean, you got so many clubs, right? You know, Manchester United, Arsenal, you know, like Tottenham, Liverpool, fucking, you know, Chelsea, fucking, you know, just Manchester City as well. God, man, there's so many teams, right? It's a bigger sport. That's a bigger sport there than I think rugby is. So I'm pretty sure that would have a larger impact than, you know, the other way around. But I mean, who am I to say? So, let's just assume that, I mean, if it's going to be based on rugby, fair enough, but I still personally think the football basis would be better. But yeah, either way, so, and Sobble evolves into a larger lizard based on a Shakespearean actor, which, fair enough, I don't see an issue with that. It's kind of basing them all on 3 different entertainment styles, you know, one being some musician, one being an actor, and one being, you know, an athlete, so to say. All some forms of entertainment. Now, number 2 here. There are two wolf legendary Pokemon. One's stats are based on high attack / special attack, and the others are based on high defense / special defense. The attack-based wolf is Steel Fighting, which alright, and the defense-based wolf is Steel Psychic. Now, I've seen this kind of thing mentioned before, and again, this is where I mean like that there's a lot of repetition in these sort of like rumors. There's a lot of repetition of the information, which gets me a little bit confused, because does that mean that these people do have the real info, but it's a little bit conflicting, and it is real, but they all have it a little bit in, you know, in confliction to each other? Who knows? But I don't know, man. I do think that Steel Fighting though makes sense, and Steel Psychic makes sense, but fair enough. Now, there are 2 opposing houses in the games whose coats of arms are feature one of the wolves. These houses are not evil teams though. There is a third organization that is trying to release the third legendary in the trio. Now, again, like I said, I feel like I've read this rumor before, but I'm not certain. And again, thank you to you know, I believe this rumor was partly telling the truth. See, that's the thing, right? I feel like I've read this information previously, but missing the bottom part. Is what I feel like. But we also have other information in this room, you know, in this video, don't worry. Now, there are 2 opposing houses. They're trying to release the third, I guess the evil organization is trying to release the third legendary in the trio. The legendary Pokemon that the evil organization is trying to wait, ooh. See, here's the thing, right? I was going to read this as is steel, as in the word steel, rather than the word steel, you know, steel type or whatever. But yeah, so it's trying to get is the steel dragon typing, is a steel dragon typing, and it was sealed away by the 2 families centuries ago when it was wreaking havoc on the Galar region. Right, that makes sense. That actually, logically speaking, for a story, that makes sense. Now, the evil team succeeds in releasing the dragon. Is up to the player to unite the 2 houses to subdue the dragon once again, which would make sense because there is that dragon theme on one like the kind of like dragon city that's a bit further up, past the industrial city. So yeah, now, there are no Galar forms like there were Alola forms, alright. The Galar form rumor is the same as the Armored Evolution rumor. There's an aspect of the game, but there are not official names for the forms, which would make sense. The professor of the region is studying the unique form changes and is in contact with Professor Sycamore from the Kalos, who studies Mega Evolution. They are trying to see if the two are somehow related. Alright, you do get to visit Lumia City in Kalos, but that is it. So here's what the other part, which is the part that I don't think I've read before. You get to visit it. You visit Professor Sycamore, who has a breakthrough regarding the new forms in Galar. This is the only Kalos experience you will have in Sword and Shield, which would make sense. I mean, I don't see an issue with that being, you know, a little bit of a post-game type thing. Even though you don't get to visit all of Kalos, the story makes it very clear that the Galar region and the Kalos have a long history together. And it goes on to confirm that the war mentioned in the Kalos storyline was fought against. See, this is the thing. I feel like I've read this before. I literally feel like I've read this before. This exact rumor. I feel like I've read this before, but the problem is there are so many of these repeating the same info. Here's the problem, right? If you look at the bottom right here, it's different. Because at the bottom they say, I saved the best or the biggest thing for the last that my source told me. They explain that the smaller Pokedex for Kalos and Galar is because they were meant to be a split generation, and we'll see a lot of Kalos Pokemon in the Galar region. My source also told me that in the third version of the set of games, we'll see both complete regions, and a full story of X and Y will be revealed as... Wait, we'll see both? Set of this games, we'll see both complete regions, and the full story of X and Y will be revealed as the two are very intertwined. These games were in development for several years now, and the story was being developed alongside X and Y story, which would make sense to finish off X and Y, because after X and Y to a lot of people felt like unfinished. So yeah, they also do mention here the Pokedex for Sword and Shield includes 91 new Pokemon, and 17 Pokemon get new forms for the games, including the starters for the games. Fair enough. The region map has been shown is missing a large island area that is based off of Northern Island. This area is for the post-game, and there's a Battle Frontier style area. Again, it feels like I've read this before. There's also a smaller story here that is focused on one of the mythical Pokemon of the region. This mythical Pokemon is based off of a leprechaun, and is a grass fairy type in typing. And I feel like I've read this before as well. But the problem is, it's formatted differently than the last time I read it, I feel like. This was posted on the 17th. This was posted a few days ago, which means I haven't covered this, but it feels like it's similar to the one that I've covered, though, which is strange. That's the thing, guys. A lot of these start intertwining with each other, and I'm going to try to make sure to look through, you know, making sure that I don't kind of, like, repeat information. But the problem is, a lot of these rumors, if they are real, would be, logically speaking, repeating info. But then again, it also feels more like just people taking rumors and just kind of shoving them onto each other. So, I don't know, man. But here's the next thing I'm going to cover real quick here in this video, guys, which is this right here. Now, of course, this is most likely fake, but I think it's worth kind of covering, which is that don't tell him I leaked this, which is the looker leak, dude. Looker leaker, dude. A friend of mine recently told me this, probably because he knows that I love Looker. He's very busy, so I'm sure you won't notice that I leaked this. Enjoy. Looker is back in Gen 8, and one of his old friends is too. Look forward to it, which would be great. Now, here's the thing, right? It makes sense for Looker to come back, because, I mean, think about it. We're going to the UK, right? The birthplace, or the home of the man who created, you know, Sherlock Holmes. The world's greatest detective, right? Literally, that's where Sherlock, your boy Sherlock is from. So it wouldn't be surprising if they decided, you know, to take the literal Sherlock Holmes of the Pokemon universe, right? Your boy Looker, taking him as the, you know, into the region would make 100% sense, right? It just makes sense to me. So and also when you think about it, right? There is this kind of ongoing storyline with Looker that's been going on since Generation 6. And also, you know, and he also popped up in Oras with the female character, like that female agent that's with him. She is the Battle Frontier head from Emerald. I'm pretty sure she showed up. I can't remember her name. I'm sorry, I just cannot recall her name. But she showed up with him in Generation 6 remakes of Oras. Sorry, Oras remakes. Also, in the Oras games, that's where she showed up again. And he showed up in, I think, that game as well. But he also showed up in Generation 6. But then again, didn't he first appear in like Generation 4 though? I'm pretty sure he showed up in Generation 4 first. My point is, it wouldn't be surprising to see him return, because the Galar region probably is going to have some things to investigate. And since it's bigger than Alola, and I'm pretty sure he didn't... I'm certain Looker didn't show up in Alola. I might be wrong. I know that the female agent did show up in the Battle Tree. I'm pretty sure in the Battle Tree she showed up, but I don't know, man. But yeah, I thought it would just be worth mentioning quickly this short little rumor, because I think Looker's going to be coming back in one shape or another, so yeah. Now, final thing, guys. You guys may remember these from yesterday. Now, we have confirmation now that they are fake, which is from Pokestami, who's been able to do a proper translation of everything here. And I thought I'd just cover this and just mention it for you guys real quick, which is that this is basically what we have here. All three are done. You just put them together so they are all in one place. But if it's hard to read, I recommend going and looking at the separately uploaded pictures. Also added translators notes about Sobel's Evo design. In the end, I say fake, but the artist did a good job. And of course, down here, sorry to all the dreamers, I'm crushing your dreams by saying these are fake. And here's what the actual, you know, translation said here, which is that on the top we have this tail is spiral-shaped and has spikes around it. Return to Kamarusu, long body, dark parrot spy, which makes no sense. And then the notes over here, of course, kind of, you know, explain it a little bit better, which is that no idea what they were trying to go for here, was the Kamarusu here. The kanji used here is to return, but the artist probably wanted back, which is up there on number 2. And it's just strange, which is the long body, dark parrot spy, which is the messed up here. And then side front, which is nothing strange. You got up here, you got back, side, egg pump 2. Strange again. You got Ash and then Satoshi's regional starter. You got Ear, Way / Ray, and then closed hand and fist. And then the notes here say that back is written differently here compared to the Sobel design, which is strange. You wouldn't really do that, you know, normally. It's just strange for some reason. A hand and fist is defined. The kanji means ash. Oh yeah, this is weird, right? They say ash up here, but then they write Satoshi's regional sun. They say the kanji means ash. That alone is strange. But then somehow below they use they use his Japanese name Satoshi as well. Yeah, question mark instantly on that. Not sure what was intended here, which was number 5, which I think was... see, where's number 5? I can't seem to find number 5. Can't seem to find it. I can't find it. Can't get my hands on it. But it's fine. And then, of course, the final one here, which is a gory berry, inside the mouth, return. Without the stick, his hair falls down. And then there is a loud noise when the stomach is hit. And then front, of course, down for the face. And then notes, of course, point out that this letter here is used when talking about a male. It's odd Game Freak would specify gender in a concept design like this. True. Then, same as the Sobel design, return is written when the designer probably wanted back. And it says inside, the mouth doesn't show inside. Yeah, inside the mouth, but it doesn't show the mouth, does it? So that's a little bit interesting, isn't it, guys? Just doesn't even show the mouth, but it says inside the mouth. Strange. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to be general it for the video, guys. If you did enjoy, though, drop a like down below. And thanks so much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy, drop a like down below. Thanks so much for watching. I'm dying inside. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the video. If you did enjoy, drop a like down below. Thank you so much for watching. My name's been RuffledRowlit. Have yourselves a great day, ladies and gentlemen. And I will catch you all in the next video. Bye. Bye.